in either case, I'm going to flip around right now and totally go back on everything I've just been saying, just to play the advocate for a moment. Okay. Another comment that was made on the website was someone, and I apologize to you who make these comments, these really great comments, and I can't remember your names. Made the comment that the Ultimate Universe books were always geared, they felt they were always geared towards teens, so that when you get that cringe-worthy moment, you just filter it. Okay, this book is meant for a teenager.
Right.
Okay. And I know that a lot of times we have this opinion. I mean, we're older guys. I mean, and we're going to look at these books from our own perspective, from, more adult perspective. Not to say that teens can't be adults. I know some really mature teenagers. But we look at it the same way many current Star Wars fans look at the Phantom Menace and the prequel movies, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Classic Star Wars fans hate the prequels because they were totally not what they expected. They expected a different level of sophistication, mm-hmm. okay? And that's the same way I think a lot of established Marvel readers look at the the Ultimate books right now. Although, now that I think about it...
No, see, and I made the comment that in theory, the Ultimate books were a very good idea. They're supposed to reintroduce Marvel Comics to a whole new generation.
Right.
And then somewhere down the road, it just went off.
It went off the tracks, yeah.
And it just got more convoluted than the normal Marvel universe. And to me, this all goes back to editorial and how Marvel has no good editorial. And those Ultimate books never should have gotten to where they're at today.
No.
And there should be no reason to kill everybody. And it shouldn't be. I mean, the thing just launched 7 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you tell me you couldn't edit your books for 6 years until it came to this?
And someone made a really valid comment, too, on the board, saying that in the beginning, the Ultimate books were easily accessible, had very streamlined continuity, and the Marvel universe was just tangled beyond, and you couldn't make any sense of it. Now, today, it's reversed itself.
Yes.
The Marvel books actually have a very streamlined continuity, and the Ultimate books, you just can't get a handle on it.
No.
Which goes to show you're right. Editorial took their focus off one and put it on the other. And I know that they were probably trying to get people to segue from the Ultimate books to the regular Marvel books. Mm-hmm. But then they said, they threw their hands up and said, forget it. Because now you look at the stuff that's going on in the mainstream books now. I look at stuff like Wolverine First Class mm-hmm. and all that, where they're essentially tossing continuity out the window.
Right.
They're just doing stories. Just for the sake of trying to get people into it. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what they should have been doing from the very get-go, instead of doing the whole Ultimate line.
Just tell out of continuity stories.
Worked for DC with their Elseworlds books and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I never understood. See, this is why I says last rant. This is just tangents going left and right. Why has DC stopped doing Elseworlds books? I understand that there's only so many iterations of Batman and Superman you can have. But some of those Elseworlds books, Superman Red Sun, I think, is one of the best Superman stories ever told.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the reason they're not doing it is because they were telling creative to get their mind off of Elseworlds and onto the main books. That they were taking all their really good ideas.
Well, it's not really working, is it?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, as someone who was in there pitching Elseworlds, mm-hmm. and this is what I was basically getting. We're not doing Elseworlds anymore. We're done with Elseworlds. We're going to take that creative energy and start putting it into the main books.
Everything goes in cycles. It'll be back soon.
Yeah. So, but again, back to my original point. Jeff Loeb's writing style, you would think would be suitable for teenagers. Although, mind you, back to Ultimatum, I don't care for, and I think the one commenter who wrote, they're enjoying every death in Ultimatum. If you're a teenager who's really enjoying the kind of carnage and just relentless, dark, violent,
You might be a sociopath and
you
get yourself checked out.
Yeah, you need help. Because that's just not what I look for in a comic book, Someone commented, it's snuff. It's a snuff piece. Yeah. It's just basically all this killing and chewing and spitting and... heads getting ripped off and body parts being eaten. And it's just, I don't find that entertaining. And if that is intended for teenagers, oh man, that's not good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I would totally give Invincible to a teenager to read, and I think Robert Kirkman intends younger readers to read, at least teenagers and tweens to read Invincible, because it walks that fine line between mature subject matter, but it shows that there are consequences to everything that happens in that universe. Unlike things like the Ultimate Universe, where everyone dies, everyone kills each other, and you know what? We're just gonna hit the reboot button later, and everyone's gonna come back, like a friggin' video game.
There you go.
So anyway,
our Ultimatum view got a lot of hits, and we were kind of happy about that. And about 90% of the commenters actually agreed with us. And there were a lot of commenters who actually liked, are fans of the Ultimate books, but are feeling really fucking ripped off.
they do feel yes.
And I commented back to one of them, like, you know what? If I was a huge fan of the Marvel Universe, I would be fucking pissed that this is exactly what Marvel thinks of those books and what the things of those fans.
Yeah. Yeah, you've invested.
You take the one creator who can give a fuck about fans, Jeff Loeb, and you get him to write that book. I'm sorry, but right there, that's just a smack in the face to all of fandom across those line of books. Because he doesn't give a shit about continuity. He doesn't give a shit about those characters. He doesn't give a shit about you. And that's who is writing that book.
Well, he's essentially saying that we take things way too seriously. That we care.
Or maybe he should do some fucking homework. Maybe an editor should like tell him, like, all right, this is a standing where all the characters are. These guys are the heroes. These guys are the villains. Write them in that manner.
But you're Jeff Loeb. You can do whatever you want. Although you do get kicked off of Heroes.
Yeah. With good reason. Man, that show's terrible.
No. In either case, comics are what comics are right now. I think that Jose and we've read enough where we can see what's happening. And yes, comics are going through a cycle right now where people in society are very cynical. We see the world through a very dark lens. That's the way art is reflecting life right now. So for you who watch these videos, who think that this is the first time comics have done this, guess again. Comics have done this before. And you know what? They're swinging in the dark direction, and it's only a matter of time before the pendulum comes back the other way. They're all cycles, and we recognize it.
Then if you're still reading comics 20 years from now, when the industry goes back to being dark, you're going to be just like us.
Except they won't be doing YouTube. They're going to be beaming their thoughts right into people's
But no,
minds.
In 20 years from now, if you're still reading comics, you're going to be like, this was so much better back in my day.
Like if in 20 years you're still reading comics, I suggest get a girlfriend. No, that's just me.
Just because you're married doesn't mean you can read comics.
Like I said, get a girlfriend. Anything else?
That's a lot. That last Rants was really long. Oh! We're going to tack on at the very end of this, which was something that Elliott was supposed to do last week, but didn't because, he's such a busy guy, and he can't handle...
Pinkham Sereno, thank you so much for this video tribute that you made for us.
And thank you for the inspiration for the Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
And the video that you actually sent us that we used this week
for the Bendis review. Yes. So just so you know, the Gargantuan clip that prefaced our Bendis review. Also, kudos to Pinkham Sereno.
So we appreciate everything you're doing for us, Hammy.
You're the best, man. And we'll leave you with this. See you next time.